Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to continue our topic on subtracting mixed numbers, but this time it's with regrouping. So let's start. Our lesson objective for today is we are subtracting a mixed number from another mixed number with regrouping. We'll see what regrouping means later. Our step to success for today are the first one is we need to minus the wholes, which are the dad. The steps are just similar to when we subtract a mixed number without regrouping, but just a little bit of additional step that we need to do. Step 2, find a lowest common multiple to make the denominators the same. That is step 3. Step 4, expand the first fraction. Now, I will demonstrate to you later on what this means. The fifth step is minus the fractional parts, which sometimes we refer to as the kid and the mom. And the last step for today is simplify if you can simplify. Example 1, 3 wholes 1 out of 3 minus 1 whole 3 out of 8. So we're just follow the step one by one and we'll see what it comes to later on. So step 1, minus the wholes, which are the dad. So the dads are 3 minus 1, so 3 minus 1 gives us 2. That is step 1. Step 2, find a lowest common multiple. For some of you, you can immediately see this, but for some of you, if you want to be on the safe side, you can always list out the multiples of 3 and 8 and find its lowest common multiple. So first thing first, let's just list out the multiples of 3. So we have 3, 6, 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 3 is 18. 7 times 3 is 21. 8 times 3 is 24. 9 times 3 is 27. So let's just stop right there. Next, we're going to list out multiples of 8. So we have 8, and 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 8 is 32, and you can stop right there. You can immediately spot a common multiple while you are listing down. The lowest common multiple that I can spot between the two numbers is 24. So we have found a lowest common multiple. That is done with step 2. Step 3, make the denominators the same. So we are going to change the denominators to 24. Right, I'm just gonna erase this part right here so we have more spaces for us to do the working. Okay, right. So we need to change from 3 to 24. In order to change from 3 to 24 is 3 times what number gives 24, and that should be 8. So meaning that you should multiply the denominator by 8. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So you need to multiply the numerator by 8 as well, and that comes down to 8. Next, we need to change from 8 to 24. Again, you can just see it from here. 8 times 3 gives 24. So in order to change from 8 to 24, you need to multiply it by 3. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 3 times 3, that gives us 9. And we're bringing the minus down. So let me just erase this so you won't be confused because there will be more workings later on. So we have done step 3. Step 4, expand the first fraction. Now before we do that, let's ask ourselves, can you minus, now that the denominators are the same, can you minus the numerators? 8 minus 9. So 8 is smaller than 9. So you cannot subtract 8 minus 9. So this is where regrouping comes in. So first thing first, the step tells us to expand the first fraction. So the first fraction consists of this one, 2 wholes 8 out of 24. Now, I'm gonna take these 2 wholes and just write it over here. So we have our 2 wholes right here. And we have our 8 out of 24, and then we have our 9 out of 24. Now, we talk about subtracting a mixed number with a whole by the end of our lesson previously, where we need to take the denominators as the fractional parts of the wholes. So for this one, changing it to fractional parts, we have 1 whole. Okay, so we already take 1 whole from here. So we are now left with 1 whole. Now I want to change this 1 whole into a fraction. So in order for me to change it into a fraction, I'll just take the denominator of the fractional parts right here, which is 24. Now, how about the numerator? What should I put in the numerator to get a 1 whole? 24, because 24 out of 24 means 1 whole. So 1 is the same as 24 out of 24. So I just want to change this whole into fraction. So now that I've changed it, I can just do 24 out of 24. So this still makes up 2 wholes because 1 whole plus 1 whole gives us 2 wholes. So we have changed this part into fraction. Now we have, so from the 2 whole, we have 1 whole plus 24 out of 24. Okay, this is the part right here. Then you want to add it with the 8. So bringing the 8 down here because you are borrowing a 24 from, borrowing part of the fraction from the 2 wholes. So this is what happens to the 2 wholes. Now we have 8 out of 24 minus 9 out of 24, just bringing it down. So you have 1 plus 24 out of 24 plus 8 out of 24 minus 9 out of 24. Next, you need to add these 2 numerators so that you can minus the answer later with 9. So I'm just going to bring the calculation over here. So we have 1 whole, 24 plus 8 is 24 plus 8 gives 213. So we have 32 out of 24 minus 9 out of 24. Now we can minus the numerators because the first fraction is, the numerator on the first fraction is bigger than the second one. So we have 1 whole. What is 32 minus 9? So 32 minus 9 gives, so that's 12, and that's 2. 12 minus 9 gives 3, and that should be 2. So we have 23 out of 24. So this is what step 4 means just now when you need to expand the first fraction. It means that you need to expand the whole number and then you need to borrow or lend a part of a fraction to the first fraction where you need to subtract it with. So that is step 4. Step 5, minus the fractional parts, which is right here. We have, so I've done step 5 and step 6. Simplify if can. Now ask yourself, can you simplify 23 out of 24? Again, it's not a matter of odd and even number. It's a matter of can you divide the numerator and the denominator using the same factor. If you cannot, then you can leave your answer as that is, which is 1 whole 23 out of 24. Example 2. 3 wholes, 1 out of 5 minus 2 wholes, 1 out of 2. Step 1 minus the wholes, which are the dad. So 3 minus 2 gives us 1. So that is step 1. Step 2, find the lowest common multiple. So you need to list out multiples of 5. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20. Let me just stop right there. Next, you need to find or list out multiples of 2. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So find a lowest common multiple. So the one that I can spot and it's the lowest is 10. So which means that you need to change the denominators to 10. So step 3, make the denominators the same. So how do you change from 5 to 10? You need to multiply it by 2. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 1 times 2 gives 2 minus, how do you change from 2 to 10? You need to multiply it by 5. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 1 times 5 gives 5. Let me just erase that. Okay. Right, so that is step 3. Next, ask yourself, can you minus 2 minus 5? Because 2 is smaller than 5, so you can't really minus them. So you need to expand the first fraction. So bringing the 1 to the side as a whole. So we have uh, so 1, we need to change it to a fraction. So we have, pardon me, we have 1 whole, 2 out of 10 minus 5 out of 10. Again, if we want to change this to fractional parts, we need to take the denominators from the fractional parts. So we take the denominator from there. Now, what makes up a 1 whole? What denominator do we need to put up here in order to make it 1 whole? Exactly, 10. So 10 out of 10 is the same as 1 whole. So you have changed this whole number as a fraction. So this now becomes 10 out of 10. Because 2 is smaller, then you need to take some parts of the whole to the 2. So you need to plus it with 2 and then minus 5 out of 10. So you need to plus the 2 fractions first. So 10 plus 2 gives 12 out of 10. Then you can minus it with 5. So we have done step 4. Step 5, minus the fractional parts. 12 minus 5 gives us 7 and out of 10. Step 6, simplify if can. Ask yourself, can you divide 7 and 10 with the same factor? If cannot, then the number stays as 7 out of 10. Our last example for today, 6 wholes, 1 out of 12 minus 3 wholes, 5 out of 6. Step 1, minus the wholes, which are the dad. So 6 minus 3 gives us 3. So that is step 1. Step 2, find the lowest common multiple. We have 12 and we have a 6. Now by this, at this point right now, since you have done a lot of questions on adding mixed number, adding fractions, subtracting fractions, those involved with proper and improper fractions as well. By now, you should be able to see how to make the denominators the same. So for example, in this one, we have a 12 and we have a 6. Automatically, we know that we just need to change one fraction, which is 6. Now, we need to change it to 12. So how do we do that? 6 times what gives 12? Times 2. So you know that the lowest common multiple between 12 and 6 would be 12. So you know that you need to change the denominator to 12. So whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. 5 times 2 gives us 10. 1 stays the same, so you just bring it down. Next, so step 3 is done. Make the denominators the same. Step 4, expand the first fraction. Why do we expand the first fraction? Because we cannot do 1 minus 10. So we need to expand this whole number so we can borrow some parts of it from 1. So bringing 3 here, we have 1 out of 12 minus 10 out of 12. Again, if you want to change this whole number into a fraction, you need to take the denominator from the fractional parts as its own denominator. So I just need one of the fraction, which means that 2 is left as a whole. Then we have a 12 as the denominator. Now what do I put up here to make up one whole? 12. So 12 out of 12, 12 out of 12 is the same as 1. So when this is the same as 1, then 1 plus 2 still gives us 3. So we're not really taking any values or anything. We're not subtracting or anything. We're just changing one whole from the 3 wholes as 12 out of 12. So we can borrow this to minus it with 10. So here we have 2 wholes, 12 out of 12. Now you need to plus it with 1 out of 12 first, so that you can minus it with 10. So we have our 2 wholes, 12 plus 1 is 13 out of 12 minus 10 out of 12. So we have 13 minus 10 is 3. So the answer is 2 whole 3 out of 12. So that is step 5, and we have done step 4. Step 6, ask yourself, can you simplify 3 out of 12? It's not, again, it's not a matter of odd or even, because that's not the case. So ask yourself, can you divide this two numbers, 3 and 12, by a same factor? Yes, you can. You can divide them by 3. So 3 divided by 3 gives us 1. 12 divided by 3 gives us 4. And the answer is 2 wholes, 1 out of 4. Now it's time for you to try. Take a piece of paper with a pen or a pencil or your mini whiteboards with your marker pens and try this question. 3 wholes, 1 out of 4 minus 1 whole, 7 out of 8. Follow the S to S and be careful on expanding the whole number. You need to you need to take the denominators from the fractional parts. Let's just quickly recap our learning objective and S to S for today. Today we are subtracting a mixed number from another mixed number with regrouping. Our S to S for today, the first step is minus the wholes, which are the dead. Step 2, find the lowest common multiple to make the denominator the same, and that is step 3. Step 4, expand the first fraction. That is more like expanding the whole number and making a part or the whole number as a fraction. Step 5, minus the fractional parts, which are the kid and the mom. And step 6, simplify if you can. Today's exercise is included in your home learning pack. It's the second one. It's on page 69. I have photocopied that piece of worksheet for all of you. Please show your full working. It helps if you can copy the S to S on the right hand side, on the top right hand side of the worksheet, so that you can always refer to your steps. You can do it in pens, please, and show your working. If you have any questions, if you have any problems, you can always contact me privately on my WhatsApp. That's all for today. Good luck, everyone. Bye.